straight up says that there's no way I'm a lifetime natural.
I don't know why he didn't record the videos. He's leaving something out. But this, I swear, I am not lying. Coach Greg, in today's video, William Lee responds. I've already watched the video, and you're not gonna believe the type of excuses that William Lee is going to make. My favorite is that his testosterone levels were lowered because he was living in the cold climate of Canada.
Kings, Greg Doucette just dropped a crazy video claiming that I'm a delusional, lying, fake Natty. There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Delusional, crazy, lying, fake Natty. But remember, I do still think he's a really nice guy.
That is quite an interesting way to start the video. I would say even quite strategic. It really kind of sets the tone and attacks my character right off the bat.
The one thing I noticed during this video is he doesn't address the most important comment of all, which is the fact that he has severe levels of body dysmorphia. That is why all of this has happened. At least that's my opinion, because if it wasn't for his severe crippling body dysmorphia, I believe that William Lee could have stayed in Canada. He could have continued to make videos. He could have continued to stay natural, and he could have inspired all the kings of the world. But he couldn't, as evidenced by he stopped posting for 3 years.
Because William Lee lied in the past about his height. What else could he be lying about? And you know, that was one of my biggest regrets. Because I exaggerated my height because I was so insecure about it.
Exactly. Lied about his height because of his severe body dysmorphia. He didn't feel he was good enough. He never felt good enough. To this day, I still don't think he feels he's good enough. Or perhaps he finally does, and that is why he's able to now make videos. If he came back and spread this message, hey guys, I left for 3 years, severe body dysmorphia. I never thought I was lean enough. I never thought I was showing enough veins, enough vascularity. And it led me to perhaps dabbling in some performance enhancing drugs because I needed to inspire you and I needed to have that look. I needed to be single digit body fat. I needed to have more muscle, but he doesn't explain that at all. I want you to take special note of the way he used to look throughout this video. Look at his physique back then in comparison to right now. He explained that he had cortisol face, that his body it wasn't all that lean, that he was down to 146.2 or some odd pounds. And he describes that the reason for all his problems was that he was too light. He wasn't too light. Now, what do you think could have caused all of this? Over dieting, too low body fat percentage, not eating enough calories, and having lower than average testosterone levels. When you go on a diet, and you're not eating sufficiently, your testosterone is going to go down. It's doubtful that he was taking G-Test Platinum. I don't believe that he was, nor was he taking terkesterone. And so very difficult to put on muscle. And so is it possible, hear me out, is it possible that he stopped posting, went to a different country, purchased perhaps some HRT, testosterone, low levels, built his testosterone levels up into the high normal range, let's call it 800 nanograms per deciliter, somewhere around where Coach Greg is, and then he started to feel normal. His energy came back. He was then able to keep training while being shredded, because after all, if you're on testosterone, even if your diet is not on point, you're still going to have proper levels of testosterone. You're going to be able to train harder than last time. And slowly over that time, perhaps over the next year, he added a significant amount of muscle while keeping his body fat single digits.
When I said I do anything and everything to fulfill this purpose, is that I would put the purpose above my own health.
He says it himself, the purpose above his own health.
Because before you kings, I really didn't have much of a purpose in life.
This sounds very sad and, in fact, worrisome. If you have no purpose in life and you don't care about your health, imagine the dark path that you could go on. Perhaps he's battling demons. I don't know. He doesn't describe this.
I remember vividly talking to myself in the mirror. All you have to do is stay shredded year-round and you can change people's lives.
He looked in the mirror and told himself, if I can stay shredded, I can help so many people. That's my only purpose in life, even though I'll probably die before the age of 40. Imagine how strictly he's dieting.
That's all you have to do. And I knew that if I kept my body in that state, that I would probably not live past 40.
To think that he's willing to sacrifice his life for the kings of the world. He says it himself. He wasn't going to live past 40. I don't like this message. You don't have to be single-digit body fat to have a purpose. You don't need to have single-digit body fat to motivate and or inspire other people. And a better message would be, Kings, I have tried to stay single-digit body fat for too long. It's not healthy. It's going to ruin my life. And so I am going to eat. He then increases his body fat to perhaps 12 to 15% and says, look, this is a healthy body weight for me. I know I'm not as lean as you want. I know the algorithm isn't going to push my content quite as much, but this is my true self, and I am still a worthy king. It's okay to be normal. And frankly, 12 to 15% body fat, it's very, very healthy, and it still looks good, and it still can inspire other people. You don't need to be shredded to be worthy, and this goes to both you that's watching this right now, as well as William Lee. You don't need to be as shredded as William Lee to be a good human. And so what would that message do? Well, those people suffering, struggling with body dysmorphia, trying to get shredded, trying to think that that is the only way to look smacks, to ascend, to perhaps get that girl, that you don't need to do it, that there are other things about you that are more important than your appearance.
Being a fake natty is so harmful, so immoral, because you are selling a lie. It's messing with people's perception of what's actually possible natural.
I'm pretty sure that having to leave for 3 years to figure it out, to then come back with 20 pounds more muscle and significantly leaner than you once were, isn't telling people that it's possible. Most people, if you want to copy William Lee and you do exactly as he's doing, you're also going to suffer. You're going to have no energy, brain fog. And so just because William Lee claims to have done it natural doesn't mean that you also can. Let's assume that he's natural. Let's give him that. Let's say he did do it natural above all odds. He's a 1 in a million. Does that mean that you should all try to do the same? Majority of you, 99.9% who try to copy William Lee are also going to suffer. You're going to struggle, and it's not going to do you any good. Would not the better message be to perhaps go for 12 to 15% body fat, something that's healthy, rather than convincing them that lean is law?
Shout out Tristan Lee. He is such a real one. He's such a hard worker, truly an inspiration. He's my shredded, long-lost brother.
Also, highly doubtful that Tristan Lee is 100% natural. In fact, I would bet almost every cent I have ever made that Tristan Lee is not a lifetime natty.
I'm actually Canadian. I was living there for my whole childhood. But when I started content creating, I realized how detrimental being in that weather was for my testosterone, my mood.
Being Canadian, it's detrimental to his testosterone. You know, the cold climate of us fellow Canadians. We're out in Montreal watching the Montreal Canadiens playing the ice hockey, and everyone's shivering, and that's causing our testosterone levels to plummet. And so clearly he had to move to a warmer climate. And so imagine if Coach Greg was born in Mexico. I would have bigger biceps than ever because my testosterone would be through the roof. Does anyone think that colder temperatures lower your testosterone? If anything, would they not make them higher? The shivering, the freezing, the cold plunging, if you will, does that not increase your testosterone? It most certainly doesn't make it lower. I guess that's why C-Bum had to start taking steroids at 18. I mean, Chris Bumstead, 6 times Mr. Olympia champion, was from Canada. Is that why he moved to the United States? Perhaps that was his secret.
So yes, I did move to a different country so that I can try to pump out content more optimally.
And so, he was willing to leave the country in order to pump out more content, but no, I would never do HRT. Prescribed by a doctor for having low levels of testosterone. Now, if William Lee was over dieting, continuously, starving himself, trying to be shredded, cortisol levels through the roof, felt like garbage, and he went to an HRT clinic and they tested him and his testosterone levels were, let's say, 140. And they prescribed him HRT. Would any of you hate on this guy? Or what if he went to Algo RX? Hey, I feel like garbage. Look at me. I'm losing I don't feel good. And his testosterone comes back at 175. They prescribe him clomiphene and his testosterone, it goes through the roof. Is that really a bad thing? I know you're trying to promote being natural, but let's say somebody needs testosterone. What if their testosterone levels are crashed for whatever reason? Perhaps they're hypogonadal. Perhaps they're not eating enough. They're overtraining. They're subjecting themselves to too much stress and their testosterone levels are in the toilet. And if they were given enclomiphene or perhaps a prescription for HRT, they would feel significantly better. Would that be okay?
I took a break, locked in, and found a way to build more muscle, build a better physique. I'm still natural. I have so much information. I'm excited to share that with you kings.
And so what he's saying is that he's 100% natural, but that while he traveled during those 3 years, he discovered a new training method, perhaps a new diet that allowed him to put on 20 pounds of muscle while getting even leaner. And if you don't believe me, look at the photos, the videos of myself when I met up with William Lee. Does he not look leaner and larger than ever before? And so what exactly were those secrets? What did he learn in a different country? Or was it simply El Sol was más caliente que la última vez?
I don't speak Spanish!
For most of the 3 years, I was trying to get it together. I was trying to get back in shape. I plan to come back on multiple occasions.
And so he says it himself. He tried to come back on multiple occasions. He'd been trying for 3 years, but he couldn't get his physique good enough. It wasn't up to his standards that he needed to look like in order to record videos. What does that tell you? Is it body dysmorphia? Was he not on HRT? Was the dose not high enough? Or did he just not figure out the correct diet, the correct training?
100% lifetime natural. If I can do it, you can too, king. We don't need peptides. We don't need steroids. None of that.
And so if William Lee can do it, you can too. All you got to do is take 3 years off work, go to a different country that has higher temperatures than in Canada, and figure out a secret method, and you too can do it. Don't give a shit about being single-digit body fat. It's not realistic. For perhaps 1% of the population, sure. But for most of you watching right now, you shouldn't be aspiring to look like William Lee. It's too lean. It isn't healthy. It's so unhealthy, it took him 3 years of continuous trying to make a comeback, to record, leaving millions of fans wanting more.
Why would I not just hop on at the peak of my fame? It would have solved all my issues. I could build muscle, eat more, look better, probably make more money.
And so this is his best argument of the entire video is if I hopped on, why didn't I just start making videos right away? I mean, I do not know. Perhaps he wasn't on a high enough dose. Perhaps the body dysmorphia had messed with his mind. And despite the fact that he looked exquisite, he still didn't think he was good enough. And so the mind, it plays tricks on you. I'm telling you, there are people out there who are peeled. I remember years ago, I was dating a girl. I'm not going to say their names. And her ex-boyfriend, he was shredded. He was year-round 6% body fat. She went to a pool party with him. He refused to take his shirt off. He went in the pool, the shirt on, wouldn't take it off. And I'm thinking, that guy, he wouldn't take his shirt off. He looks incredible. He was the most shredded guy I'd ever seen. And so just because you're shredded doesn't mean you actually think that you look very good. And so it's very much possible that William Lee, who was on performance-enhancing drugs, still didn't feel that he was good enough.
And I would never lie about my natty status. If I ever hopped on, you kings would know.
Every fake natty ever has stated that they're natural and that they would tell you if they would hop on. I mean, Mike O'Hearn, he's still 100% natural. Of course he is. He's going to take this to his deathbed. He's never going to say that he's been taking anything. And so what makes you think William Lee is any different? But here's the thing. A lot of people writing comments, oh, you defended Hussein Farhat, and Hussein has more muscle than William Lee. Hussein did 4 blood works. And so my first video, I actually said, I believe Hussein is a fake natty. With William Lee, I said, I think he's natural. The difference is he has now put on 20 pounds more muscle while getting leaner than last time, while Hussein Farhat has done 4 blood works, and each and every time it's indicated that he is natural after all. If William Lee were to post his blood work and say, look, I'm back. Check out my blood work. I've taken my blood work every year since I've left, and my levels, they're more normal than last time, and so I am natural. If I had his blood work, I would then have to say, well, the blood work, it shows that he's clean. And so, William, let's see the blood work.
I genuinely believe that a balanced view on looks maxing is so instrumental and so beneficial for young men especially.
See, he means well, but the problem is if you think you have to look max to this point in order to be happy, you are wrong. You do not. He left the country for 3 years. He couldn't record a video because he didn't think he was good enough. He continued to mew, chewing on a dog ball or whatever to increase the jawline, to continue to get shredded, to lower the body fat levels. So he did everything so that he had enough of an appearance in order to record a video. Imagine that you care so much about your appearance that you can't do what you truly love. He loved to inspire the world, to motivate them, but yet he didn't think he looked good enough.
If Greg didn't look the way that he did, he wouldn't have the audience that he has. Looks matter a lot in life, and they matter even more on social media.
Here's the thing. I'm now 50. I started recording in 2006. I am significantly older now, and I'm not blasting steroids. I am on HRT, but I've lost at least 10, if not 15 pounds of muscle from when I first exploded. And so, if anything, my looks have gotten worse. I don't have 5% body fat. I'm not shredded like Tristan Lee. I'm still in good shape, but it's more realistic. When I first was exploding on YouTube, I was competing as an IFBB pro. I was dieting. My pecs were peeled. I had huge muscles. And since that time, I've gotten smaller. But my audience has continued to rise. And so just because I'm not as shredded or perhaps as tanned as I once were, doesn't mean that my audience isn't still watching me. Imagine if I took off 3 years and said, you know what? People, they started following me and I was shredded. I was 5%. I was huge. If that were the case, I would have to go on test and trend, diet down for a competition, and make my return. But do you notice, is there been a day where I haven't been recording videos? And so since I began recording videos, I've now gotten well over 4,000 videos and I haven't taken any time off. And so the message is, regardless of how you look, whether you're gaining weight, losing weight, putting on more muscle, if you have the proper tan, if you don't have a proper tan, you can still keep recording.